Hello everyone, and welcome to the Gems of War Guild Wars, week 112, week 4. So today, day 4. Week 112, day 4. But anyways, so today, we have ourselves our good old purple Guild War day, but that, of course, is not the biggest thing that's happening. Also, did I forget to... Oh, no, I got a purple shirt. But, that's not the biggest thing that's happening. We have a Vault event. I was able to grind a little bit off stream. I think I only got a verse or two, though. Where are we on the thing? We got... Where's my verse numbers? Yeah, we got 2. We had 2 earlier, and now we have 4. So we have doubled the amount of verses we have, though. Not much of a double, given where we're starting from. But, yeah, we're mostly just going to be grinding for some gnomes after that. I do want to start with some of the normal stuff, you know, Guild War, all that kind of stuff. We technically already did the crowns, obviously, from that little bit of grind. So, these are way already completed within literal minutes. But hey, tomorrow we get the Legend. Unfortunately, Legend doesn't really do anything. Deals a bunch of damage to all enemies boosted by Bomb Gems. Bomb Gems already underwhelming. His boost ratio is on the 1-to-1 for no reason. I have no clue why it's this low. Even at 5-to-5, I'm not sure I'd bother using him. And the weapon, unfortunately, isn't that much better. Bomb Gems have always been kind of weak. They're still, to this day, arguably the weakest of all the power gems we've ever gotten. But, yeah, we're getting those tomorrow. Nothing else. They're, completionist stuff to get Adana a little bit more upgraded, as that would, in theory, theoretically bring up, that's not Adana. It would theoretically bring Adana up another star. However, it's technically not, because of course it's locked at 26, like almost every kingdom in the game, because you need to upgrade to a level 18, and that's not worth doing for every kingdom. You would mostly only do that for the magic kingdoms, or maybe Sword's Edge right now, because Sword's Edge is actually 3rd viewable, but does require going all the way. Which, I do not have the loot for, and I'm pretty sure most people don't. Hey, we actually could go to 19, though. Ooh. Unfortunately, the 19 bonus isn't that good. The last good bonus prior to 20 is just the kingdom stat bonus that makes it go a little bit higher. 19 just gives you some extra stats on, the faction. And this is only applicable, like, maybe one Tuesday out of the entire year. Unless it gets, like, a deep delve variant, which... Has this place gotten one yet? It should have, with how many troops it has. Because, yeah, I think it did, because it would have gotten it from... It would have gotten it from Sunken Fleet. Not Sunken Fleet, whatever that one is called. The one in top left. The, I'll know exactly what it is the second I look at it. The Crypt thing. Yeah, Crypt Keepers. But, yeah, you got an extra one for Crypt Keepers already. From the Deep Delve variant. But, you know, those events barely ever roll around, so... Very little instances you can actually end up utilizing it for those extra stats. But anyways, hello everyone! How you guys been enjoying the Vault weekend out of nowhere? It still kind of caught me off guard, too. Like, obviously I mentioned it yesterday. But I was not planning for this weekend to be a Vault event. So we're definitely grinding it a bit less than we have in the past. But I still want to grind it. We'll be doing that on stream, of course, right now. But let me just say the last hellos, and let's actually get into playing. Hello, Easy Breezy. Hello, Gimli. Hello, Logic Slayer. Hello, Tyrion. Hello, Humberto. Hello, Bill comes along. Hello, Jonian. Hello, Roman. Hello, Tyrion. Hello, Logic Slayer. Hello, Richard. Hello, Cookie. Hello, everyone else. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Is anyone having issues with the verse gnomes? I don't know. Have they been an issue? I was getting them pretty normally earlier. Everything seems pretty fine. I wasn't doing too much grind. We only have one Volky about to get a second. But everything seems pretty good with it. All in the normalcy. So apparently the guild we're up against does not exist. How have they done so few battles? What is going on? How many people are left in their guild? Wait, what? What's going on here? Wait, I'm even more confused. They have 29 out of 30. It's in Russian, though. Interesting. I'm very confused. They have an almost full guild, but 6 people have done Guild War. Not even 5. Well, 6 have participated. 5 have actually fully completed their battles for today. That is very confusing. Especially given that they're in bracket 5. That is so weird. Like, they're double under second to last place. Well, at least we know we're not losing this week. But, interesting. Anyways, let's just do our battles. So we got Purple Guild War today, as mentioned earlier, which means Thrall Leprechaun. You don't have to run Thrall Leprechaun, obviously, but it's a lot of mana, a lot of value, and we're just feeding a very safe life in Death Weaver. No need to really change out of it. Big fan of the team. Not the quickest high score you're ever going to get, but it should consistently pretty much almost never lose unless we get really unlucky. Currently using an Elementalist, however, you can switch this out for a wide plethora of different options, depending on what you're looking to do in a given battle. But we're just going for Elementals for now. Get those disables down. Also, why are they running Sentinel? Honestly, we could probably run almost anything today and get away with it on this guild. We'll see. Though some of them might still have some good defend team set. They might. Though I'm not sure why none of them are really doing their battles, though. It's just so strange. Like, I understand, like, a few people. Like, you know, maybe they were restructuring, they lost a few. A couple people just not around. They're all playing Vault events. But maybe they just all agreed as a guild, hey, it's Vault event this weekend, no one has to do Guild War. But then how did that affect the other days? Because the other days they would have, because we didn't know that until yesterday. So it's not like they could have been at the beginning of the week. It's like, oh, it's Guild War this weekend, don't do Guild Wars. Like, that could make sense, like if you knew about it ahead of time. But it wasn't announced until yesterday that there'd be a Guild War today. Hello, Maximus. Hello, Shushu Ninja. Welcome, welcome. Well, we'll be getting around to it as soon as we finish everything else. And I'll probably go for, I'm not sure for how long, a couple hours or so. Definitely want to get some amount of grind in. Get a few paloozas in there. Don't want to go too late, though, as this is already kind of late at the default time that we normally stream. We're definitely going to get some amount of grind in there. Alright, let's go get the Life and Death Weaver. Honestly, I don't even care if he has alignment. We'll be fine. Oh, we don't have enough damage, though. Maybe we should go all in on magic. Gonna go for the board clear. Landed the extra turn. Oh yeah, we're just gonna Life and Death here. Just double checking he doesn't have anything. I should probably double check his alignment just in case, too. Brown to purple, surprisingly does almost nothing at all. He gets a little thing in the corner, and that's it. So I can just throw down Life and Death, put the Weaver immediately behind it. He'll do a thing. He'll get his little bit of mana. We're not frozen on anything, so we just grab all that. We didn't get the Weaver down, and just have to deal with these other two. Oh no, he got a resummon there because we poked his hero. Wait, isn't he already stunned, though? How did he get the resummon? Alright, well, we'll go for the Life and Death there. That is kill range off a hero. Even if it has spell reduction there, it is stunned. And then one more Life and Death Weaver will end up taking out, and we're good to go. Also, hello, Isabel! Hello, Tone! Welcome, welcome. Yeah, I was on the forum. They posted about a day or two ago. They posted it, like, Wednesday night. So technically a day and a half advance. Like, I think they posted a few hours after our Wednesday night stream that there'd be a Vault event this weekend. Okay, was it Thursday morning? Well, Wednesday night is sometimes Thursday morning, depending on your time zone. Let's see. Because I know it was in that in-between time. I'm not sure the exact time to the dot. Also, that's an unfortunate start for them. I've barely even paying attention because I'm getting ready for that Vault event. Already in the Vault event mindset. But we'll still do our guild wall. He's gonna get a little bit of drain. Not much of a drain, though. Do I even want to cast here? What does he still have? He's blue to yellow. Blue to yellow does nothing. He actually helps us get rolling. He gives us the yellow we directly need, so I'm just gonna go for that. Take all this yellow. I don't need much of it, though, so let's take that. Get a big old cascade. There's even more yellow left. I guess we take it just to get rid of it. I can't take it for Skull because of how the other one's structured. Now we could. But I'm not sure we do. He's going to take a Skull himself. That's not going to cascade far enough. I think we just do this into Weaver. Just get a nice board clear. Hope he doesn't get anything sketchy. Somehow that wasn't extra turn. Oh, you know why? Because we're frozen on Skull there. Not ideal. Actually, he might have died a death mark here. I can't even get Weaver down. I am actually going to go for it just to put down Web so he does less split damage. Because he's barely going to do any Skulls to begin with. Also, I just realized he's using Yellow Book. This guy didn't change his team to the right day. Which makes sense because almost no one in this guild is active at the moment. Seemingly for some reason that I do not quite understand. But, yeah, that's interesting. He's using his Yellow Day anti-team on Purple Day. So I'm not sure what's going on with this guild, but none of them are around, seemingly. But yeah, this is his Yellow Day defend. I didn't even notice that till just now. I was like, wait, why is this thing hitting us so low? But yeah, this is literally just his Yellow Day defend on a Purple Day defend. Which does happen if you don't remember to switch them. Which apparently a lot of this guild isn't around at the moment. Alright, so that dies. I'm surprised how good this team is still doing to us, though. I'm only half paying attention getting ready for the Vault event. Do you need a cold? Oh, do I have a cold? Ah, sure. I was resting some earlier today. But, I don't know. It might be starting to catch something. I think it was from something I ate the other day. Also, my mom's been bringing the dog back a lot. That could also be getting me slightly sick. There's a lot of weird scents that, like, don't agree with me. And the smell of that dog is definitely one of them. Let's see. What do we need here? Because, she's actually gonna have to babysit it for a couple weeks straight soon. Because the house that's currently staying at is getting, renovations and a bunch of other stuff. Whatever on earth is happening with it. The dog's gonna have to stay with us for a while. Which I'm not looking forward to that. I'm definitely not a dog person. Like, out of almost every pet in existence, it'd be one of the last one I would ever get. Especially the type of dog breed it is. It's one of those really annoying ones. Like a Chihuahua, but slightly bigger. Like, it's every annoying stereotype you think of a Chihuahua, but it's not a Chihuahua. It's a different, similar small dog. Because it never stops barking. Like, ever. For any reason. It is only nose on mode for bark. I said hello, Lester. Oh, did I not say hello? I thought you were already here. But hello, Lester. Hello, Red Devil. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Some guilds save Guild War until Sunday. That is true. That is true. Maybe that's what they're doing. But that wouldn't explain why some of them have the incorrect team set for today. Like, some of them look like they're just not even around. If they have the wrong color day set for the team. Because that's a sign that it just went defaulted on what they already had. Because for whatever reason, it remembers your 6 teams, but it does not remember your 6 teams on the correct corresponding color. So it'll remember all of them, kind of, only halfway. Like, you'll have the correct 6 teams placed, but they will not necessarily be on the correct 6 colored days. I wonder if they will ever code that in a way that will actually recognize that. Is while your 6 teams will be correct, the day that they are applied to is just based on the slot, not based on the color. So, for example, the team that you set for the first day this Guild War, let's say it was blue. Actually, what was the first day this Guild War? But for example, the team that you set for green Guild War day, on this day, it is applied to the first day 1 of Guild War. It is not applied to green Guild War itself. So next Guild War, this might be red Guild War day, or purple Guild War day, or something. But, you know, it's associated to the day itself, not to the Guild War color. Which doesn't make much sense, because obviously you're setting them for the color, not for the day. Like, this isn't our day 1 team, our day 2 team, our day 3 team. It is this week, but, you know, they're the green team, the red team, the blue team, because that's what they correspond to. But for whatever reason, it's saved based on the day, not based on the color. Anyways, that's basically 9,500 while doing so badly, so I'll take it. And I actually pushed us to 2nd place in the current bracket, which actually is enough to move up, which I'm not sure that's really a good thing. And depending on how we do as a guild, we're actually going to get 1st place this bracket. That's kind of cool. Anyways, there we go. So, in other news, let's go clear out everything else, which there isn't much else to clear. Let's go clear out everything else, and then we can finally get on the Volk grind for the next, hopefully a few hours. Oh, web trap, not ideal. Ooh, stairs. Well, we already hit 2 traps. We'll make that 3 traps. Wow, curse web. In order of curse web, too. Oh, no, it's in order of web curse. That's a little bit better. Still not ideal, though. You know what? I'm about to just cleanse. Give me the cleanse metals. I just want my mana accumulators to not be webbed. I'll put it over top of this. I don't think we're going to need this at any other point this week. That reminds me, I haven't been doing the world event. How's the guild doing on world event? I kind of forgot we even had one this week. That's not world event. It's Guild War. We are currently at... Okay, good. Guild will carry us tomorrow. We'll be fine. And we get another little upgrade. Oh, there we go. Where are we? Yeah, we're in 4th to last. Only, technically 3rd to last because Oloco, I think, is on vacation right now. We're fine. Leading by example. Alright, let's go put the ingot over there. I don't know, when it comes to events, we just need to make sure they get done. However they get done across the entire guild is what works. Sometimes we carry a bit more, sometimes we're at the bottom end there. It just depends on the week. Anyways, let's go and do the dungeons real quick. I clicked all of them. I didn't actually do their battles because I was switching my metallage. So we don't have to deal with, or at least slightly less have to deal with, the very high annoyance of some of those rooms there. So hello, Maximus. Welcome, welcome. Oh, was that text not Russian? It looked like Russian. The way it was set up. Maybe it's not. I don't know languages too well. The only language I can 100% consistently identify is probably Spanish. Every other language, not so much. Maybe French? But I feel like Spanish is one of, if not the only language, where 100% of the time, if I look at it, I will know that it is Spanish and not a different language. But there's a lot of other ones where I kind of second guess myself, especially between Chinese and Japanese. There's several others where, yeah, if I look at it, I will not be able to necessarily identify what language it is. It's definitely not English. True. True, I can also identify that. I can identify every language that isn't English with a pretty high consistency. There are some few exceptions, because the English language is weird. Also, how on earth did we lose this fight? Also, is that a resummoned white? No, that was a standard white. I thought that was a resummoned white that killed us for a second. Hello, Emanator! A new YouTube name to Acid the Slacker. We're not slacking. We're doing the bare minimum required to get through. That's not slacking. That's just doing very efficient minimalism. There's a difference. Zala does not agree. Azala has been lower than us on some of the event weeks, though. Maybe not on average. But there have been weeks. Unless she did all the battles on, like, the final day or something. Which I just find pointless to do. Like, if we already have an event completed, like 100% completed, I see no reason to go any further for anyone in the guild. Because the event's already done. Unless it's one of those events where you get rewarded for doing so. Like, for example, Tower of Doom, or Invasion if you're at the really early end and you still haven't done your up to 4 towers thing. Also, I hope Genki is having a good birthday today. He's probably celebrating right now, because in our time zone it's like, what, 5 o'clock right now? It's probably a birthday celebrating time. I don't know, what time would it even be traditional for celebrating a birthday? Because I feel like there's 2 times. Like, right in the morning, when your household wakes up, and probably around, like, 5 or 6 p.m. If I was to guess, like, any 2 times that you would commonly celebrate a birthday. Tacit will carry. We haven't carried on an event for a very, very long time. We haven't even scouted for, what's it called, in a while as well. The other problem with that, though, is one of the reasons why it's kind of hard to scout is because the rest of the guild would have to do so little, because normally I don't get around to my battles for Tower of Doom until we do the stream. And by then, like, everyone has already played, more often than not, or at least a good number of people. So it's very unlikely that we would have been able to scout forward. Unless the people all the way at the top just didn't scout that far, in which case then we get to scout on those Mondays. Because we've only done that like a couple times in the last year. Because they normally scout almost all the way to 25, and that's all you really have to do for that event. Like, you can keep going forward if you want, but there's really little need to go beyond 25th completion, as in floor 26. And a lot of times the guild's already scouted all the way there. And even if they're not, we might not have enough sigils on the first day to even get that far. Also, I just realized I didn't upgrade Ace of Runes earlier. Let me go do that. It's not that big a deal, but it is an extra star for Adana, which of course also does nothing because it's not actually an extra star for Adana because it's currently bottlenecked, like almost every single kingdom is in the entire game, because there's not enough deeds coming into the game to be able to upgrade them all. But ignoring that, it is an extra star for Adana in theory. In practice, no, it is not. We're just doing this for cosmetic sake because there's no way I'm actually running this card. It does nothing. I think its ability literally even says it does nothing in a lot of words. It's a lot of words, but it summarizes to nothing. It gives a bunch of armor to an ally. Wait, it doesn't even skill on magic? Wait. Oh, so hello, Bill. Wait, how is so many people who normally get here early I haven't said hello to? Hello, Bill. Welcome, welcome. But, also hello, GW. But, wait, it doesn't even skill off of magic. What? I am so confused. Like, even if it did, it's still useless. But, did they forget? It gives 4 armor to an ally. Wow. That's even more useless than I thought. It gives 4 armor to an ally. Not 4 plus magic, just 4. And then there's a 7% chance for an extra turret for each blue gem on the board. And it just has standard good tarot card traits that all of them have. Like, literally the same setup as every good tarot card. Which is a bad example because that has a different one. But all the good tarots have the same setup. Anyways. So what were we doing? We were doing, so we did that. Is there any event we haven't done other than Stormcaller? Oh yeah, daily adventure board. That's only a handful of gems. We'll go clear this out, and then we're just running Vault the entire stream then. For like, maybe a couple hours? Not that long. We'll be at midnight if you go for a couple hours, but, go for a decent chunk of time. You know what, we'll watch you run some more Wayne. Give it a chance. I had a new, movie in production. Show, Bill. Ace of Wands is proud. Yeah, Ace of Wands got to be unique. Yeah, some tarot cards just randomly have their own unique ability. But more often than not, they either have the good tarot card setup or the bad tarot card setup. But there are a few outliers that actually have a different ability. Yeah, it is really bad. Even if that was 4 armor plus magic, it's still pretty underwhelming. There's already other blue options that can do that. Like, even Justice does it. Actually, it does attack and life. But still. There's no need for that small of an armor buff. It doesn't scale for the enemies things or anything like that. It's really bad. Anyways, let's go do some Vault grinds and hand out a bunch of keys. So, let's go get a Vault number tracker for the weekend. I start at 150 and whatever our current Epic Vault keys are, because I know for sure I did not get any. Well, we didn't get any keys earlier, really? Not counting the pity. Ah, that's unfortunate. I did it for about 2 hours, but it was 2 hours sporadically. So it could have been effectively like 45 minutes or so, or maybe even less. Let's see, because it was over like a couple hours, but it was a very distracted couple hours. So it wasn't like straight playing the entire time like we would be on stream. I don't have a Vault tracker anymore. There it is. This is what we did last time. That's where we were at. We did 41 Paloozas last time. I don't think I'm going to keep track of total Palooza this time. But you know what? Maybe we will. We'll keep this same tracking setup. So we're going to go 0. 0. And, 0. What a wonderful start to the Vault event. Alright, well, let's make those numbers not 0. Let's do some standard, verse grinds. Once we get our first verse, we're immediately going to throw it down. How about that? Watch it. We'll hand out a code after the first verse. Or how about after we get the verse of the first verse? For the first Palooza. And of course we're running standard Ironhawk. The 2 Ironhawk teams that just destroy everything very quickly. Oh, so hello, Kurt Lee. Welcome, welcome. As this does get it done pretty quickly. Utilize that as much as we can. Oh, you got a lot of Ben & Jerry's ice cream? That sounds good. I actually can't eat their brand normally. Because they make so many nut-related ones that it may contain. So I've actually never had Ben & Jerry's ice cream. Ever. I've heard it's good. But I cannot say. Generally, if I bother buying ice cream, I don't really bother buying ice cream these days. Or if I do, it's a lot smaller, quicker form factor, like a popsicle stick or something. But, yeah, I don't really get ice cream these days, but if I was to, I would normally just grab whatever the cheapest thing is on the shelf. Like, whatever is having the biggest possible sale at a given moment in time, that's the ice cream I'm eating. Or, you know, as far as brand. As far as flavor, you know, there's plenty of options for pretty much every brand for the most part. How about Tom and Jerry's? Oh, I've seen Tom and Jerry. I've seen a lot of Tom and Jerry's episodes when I was younger. I feel like, currently, like 10% of Tom and Jerry shows, if not more, could never pass in current day. Like, if Tom and Jerry was a modern day show, maybe like a quarter of their shows would get canceled. Like, they'd be canceled within like a month of airing. If that show was to exist in modern standards. Tyrion, what you were mentioning. On a low-level account, free to purple deeds or epic Volkey? Oh, I'd probably take the purple deeds, but epic Volkey's pretty juicy. I feel like I take every purple... I take every epic Volkey regardless, just for the sake of getting something good. But you know you're not getting anything good from it. Like, you could, but you know it's not going to happen. So, oh no, the two purple deeds are more consistent, but the epic Volkey's more fun. Like, if this account ever sees an epic Volkey, just taking the epic Volkey. But, the average chance of two purple deeds being better is higher than an epic Volkey. Surprisingly. At least in current state of game, until they make deeds better. But yeah, on a low-level account, it might get a little bit more value from an epic Volkey, but you can still get absolute trash from it. Like 4 of a gnome and like 3 useless drops. And one of those is guaranteed to be useless because you get the Underworld shards. Which I guess are slightly more useful on a newer player, but still. Also, it feels weird seeing 000 for our keys. We're gonna have such a low number by the end of it all. Yeah, that's the only slight issue, and I actually agree with some people on the forum. The Vault event coming out of nowhere was not ideal. Because everyone was planning for, like, the last month that Vault event is going to be next weekend, not this weekend. Oh yeah, Tyrion, how did that go for you, by the way? Didn't you literally take off from work the next weekend? And now you probably still have off, and, now there's a Vault event now? Like, you're not going for 1,000 this weekend, right? I'd be very surprised if so. Oh yeah, Monday's a holiday, true. What was it again? Memorial Day? It's something that begins with an M. I'm pretty sure. I can't remember what holiday it is. But I am aware of it. I just always forget which one it is in June. Because normally I think of June as the Father's Day month. Oh yeah, isn't it technically Pride Month too? I like never celebrate that though. Which is kind of funny because to some degree I fall in that category. I never really considered myself much of the part of like the LGBTQ or whatever on earth the entire acronym is these days community. Even though I do fall like somewheres in there. It falls and starts with M. Is it Masochist Day? Make sure you get your BC done before activating Palooza. Wait, what's BC? BC. Battle Crowns? Battle Crashers? I already did the Battle Crashers. I did that off stream earlier today. And even if we didn't, we already would have been done by now with how many battles we're doing right now. But no, I did that earlier. You're still going for 500 plus? Nice. Yeah, I'm not even sure if we're going to be able to hit 300. Because I'm starting with almost 0 Paloozas, and I want to stack at least 10 of them for later. Which means at least 6 of the Paloozas we're getting this weekend, I ideally don't want to use. Which is already... Because if we were to use those 6, that's 120 plus Volkies right there, like 120, 150. That's already cutting in like half of how many we were going to get with that low of an aim. So honestly, we'll be lucky if we even break like a couple hundred. Hey, there he is! Okay, it's code time. Let's go open that Palooza so we can stop looking at 000. But there we go. Because the one I need is verse 3, and that should bring us to 5 now. Because I want to end this weekend with like a couple hundred vault keys ideally, plus this number saying 10. Oh yeah, we got 30-30 there. Gosh, they're all getting even except the one I have the least of. Come on, threes, you got this. Okay, but let's go open the Palooza. Let's go hand out the first code. Oh, wait, I forgot. Give me a moment. I need to go get the new stash. I forgot to do that the other night. Hopefully the other computer isn't too laggy at doing this, because I didn't actually restart it before the stream. But all I gotta do is open Discord and copy-paste the entire list in there. Also, it's a shorter list, so I gotta make sure I don't accidentally post it into chat. Because there's a lot less codes there this time. Anyways. So, okay. Let's take this, grab our thingy. Guess we'll still have to wait a moment, because I can't start the Palooza, obviously. Got 2 pity keys waiting. I gotta keep track of that anyways, though. Just gonna let it keep track of itself as it piles up there. Just add it at the end. How many, pub? Wait. Let's see. Let's see. How many pub holes does the US have a year? What are those? I'm not sure what that means. Let's see. I'm not sure what that is. We've been finding a lot of 21 HP Soul Gnome. Yeah, the 2 tankiest gnomes are Soul Gnome and Dragonite Gnome. Soul Gnome, when it replaces an Epic or above, particularly Legendary and Mythics, will have enough to survive the 20 damage. I believe it does occasionally on Epic, but I know on Legendary and Mythic it definitely does. As it's the second tankiest gnome, and the absolute tankiest is, of course, the 0 attack, or at least, you know, base value 0 attack of the Dragonite Gnome. It was literally made so that it could survive stuff like that. Alright, it's still loading. Come on, Discord, load quicker. It must be doing some kind of update. Okay, well, I can't even do anything else, because the thing we need to be doing is the, Palooza, and you can't, like, half do a Palooza. I guess we'll open a few more real quick while that's loading so I can get you guys the codes. Come on, Discord, open quicker. Almost there. Well, she also sent it to me through the forum, because the forum would load within, like, 5 seconds, even on the slower computer. Discord, because I don't use it, like, ever on my other computer, has to, like, download every update Discord has had within the last month, and then open at its slow pace. Alright, there it goes. It's opening now. Or at least assumably. It's currently a giant gray screen. It's getting there, though. Hey, verse 4 is no longer our second lowest verse. It's now our third lowest. Nice little milestone for it, as it has notoriously been, in the past, one of our lowest. Like, literally our lowest for some amount of time. Oh, no, actually verse 2 was the one. Never mind. Yeah, that'd be more impressive if verse 2 did that, not verse 4. Let's see. There's all the updates. No. I don't want to know what's new. I just want to go get the redeem codes. There's Jetto's comment with all the redeem codes for the month of May. All the way near the end of May. No, she sent it out May 2nd. Actually, that's funny. She sent it on my mom's birthday. Which is probably one of the reasons why this was never even copy-pasted in. Because I was busy celebrating my mom's birthday that day. And then over the next 3 weeks, I proceeded to never copy it into the thing. Until right now. Because I didn't do it the day of, and then I just never got around to it. Well, here you guys go. Here's the first code of possibly a few. I'm not sure exactly how we're doing it this week. We're definitely handing out at least one more this stream. But there is the first. Hey, it has Mac at the beginning. Look at that. Again, same order as always. 2 treasure maps, 1 gem key, 200 souls, 2,500 gold. Use on Gems of War 4. I mean, Gems of War website under the redeem code section. Also, why on earth is it showing the news off the corner? Come on, get that alpha here. I want to be able to see chat. I can't see chat. Why is this up here? How do I remove this on this computer? My other computer doesn't do that. There it goes. Alright. Anyways, all is in order now. Technical difficulty's over. Now if we need to get any more codes, just a click of a button. So we'll be way quicker than whatever on earth that process just was. Hey, verse 2. Oh yeah, let's go do a Palooza now. And now they're back to being even once again. They were already unevened, and literally the next battle, they're already re-evens. Gotta love it. But yeah, if only they were verse 3s. They're so low. We're gonna be like 40, 40, 40, and then verse 3 is gonna be like 0. This is so behind the others. Anyways, let's get into this. Palooza time. Oh yeah, let me go start up a timer. That's one of the reasons I need this. And then this. One moment. This is a very important thing to have a timer for. The whole reason why you generally want to timer your, oh yeah, Abel even mentioned it there with the good old reminder. One of the reasons you want a timer is just to make sure you're exactly at time with, oops, I accidentally opened 2. Let me get rid of one of these. But you want to make sure you're exactly in time with, excuse me. You're exactly with time with the Palooza. Because if you, oh no, 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 I just made it a different size instead of moving. I'm trying to move it. Oh no. Alright, did I make it bigger, smaller? What does it look like on screen? That should be fine. I should go make it a little bit higher, but I have no clue where it is in my stack of things. There we go. That seems fine. Alright. Alright, any more technical difficulties want to occur? Alright, I think we're good to go. Anything else we need to go do? Okay, that's in order, that's in order, that's in order. Let's make sure the timer's at your timering. And we're good to go. Okay, let's do this. Let's go to other. Go to Palooza. Make sure to only use 1. But in all fairness, I can't really misclick to use that many. We only have 5. And let it all begin. Yeah, the main reason you want to timer it is you actually get the... Oh, I forgot to change my team. No, it doesn't waste that much time, though. There we go. We're good to go. But the main reason you want a timer is you actually get the full amount of loot from the final battle. So it's good to know when that is. You can use that for Cursed Gnomes or for Dragonite Gnomes. Or just Glory Gnomes. Also, wow, that's a great start. We're starting with an Epic Volkey. Which, oh yeah, I need to keep track of that really weird number. We started at like 758. It was some kind of number ending with 58. I need to remember that, because our starting number for our other thing's really easy. It's 150. But our other one is a little bit more complicated. And as Isabel mentioned, definitely feel free to leave a like on the stream. Helps a lot and is greatly appreciated. Also, wow, what a great start. We're already at Epic Volkey, Double Volkey. Keep it coming. The average Palooza is around 20 Volkeys and 2 Epic Volkeys, though. Or at least with the team we're using right now. So great start still. Also, thank you, Emanator, for the $4 tip. Greatly, greatly appreciated. Thanks a ton. Still feels weird that Vault event's this weekend. I was really not expecting it, but hey, Vault event's a Vault event. Still great grinds, even if we won't be able to grind it as much this weekend. If anything, it will keep up our sanity since we're not doing too much of a grind on it. We're doing a pretty casual grind on it this time. We'll probably do a few more, still thousands, like, gosh, another Epic Volkey. Like we did the other Vault event. But after doing it last Vault event, we definitely got to take a little break for the next 1 or 2. That's definitely not something I could do every time. It's just too much of a grind to go for 1,000 every single time it comes around. You always want to get at least 100, couple hundred, even more if you can. It's a great time to get loot overall. And the initial grind that you do gets benefited even more due to how pity keys work. Currently, you may have seen that we had 2 pity keys, or we started with 1, then we had 2. And by the end of this Palooza, we're already going to be at like 9 or 10. So it goes up pretty quickly for the first several that you do. It's always good to get at least like a couple hours of grind on the Vault event weekends. Even if we're not going for like a super big number. Because the initial grind gets benefited way more than the later grind. Mostly due to pity keys, up-fronting a lot of extra keys on you. Which is a nice incentive system for it, to make sure you don't get too unlucky. It was added before Paloozas even existed. But now with the addition of Paloozas, it's even better. Because you can cash in on most of those within the first hour or so. If you already have the Paloozas queued up and ready to go. Which this time around we don't quite have. I tried to off stream. I got 2 of them. We got 1 this stream. Still need to grind more of them. Hopefully tomorrow, midday through, I'll have more time to go get them in. I was feeling kind of off earlier today, though. Not sure what it's from. I mentioned earlier. I think it was something I ate the other day. I feel like I want to adjust what my diet is as well. I just have no clue what I want to eat. That's one issue I've always had whenever I've wanted to change like what I eat on a regular basis. Is I never know like what to change into. Because these days I mostly just eat salads, yogurts, occasional like fish and meats. Mostly fishes though. Stuff along that kind of category. Obviously, various vegetables, fruits. I don't really cook too much, though. Which I do need to do more. I just feel like it's a lot of effort for so little payout. Like, I wouldn't mind cooking for someone else, who's like a good friend or something similar. But I feel little need to cook for myself. Compared to just grabbing something that's quicker. Or even just cooking something that is quicker. There's just a lot of things that it just is not worth going through the whole process for. You were sort of grumpy all workday? Oh no. And I generally don't get that grumpy. I almost don't even know the emotion of mad. It's an emotion I've almost never really had. Because I'm very rarely under any circumstance where I would get mad. And there's a lot of situations where I just wouldn't get mad that other people would as well. But you've had to be like an absurdly extreme situation for me to even feel madness. A ring-fit mad, no. Oh no, we should bring that back, Ring Fit Adventure, at some point. Just for the fun of it. I've been gaining a little weight. I think I'm up to like 220 now. I need to get back down. The highest I've ever been, I think, was 235. The lowest I've been in the last 5 years was like just at 200. A squat fit adventure. That's the main thing that keeps me away from that game. It has way too much squatting. Like, way, way, way too much squatting. Like, even if you don't set any squatting attacks, whatever, it has so much mandatory squatting. Even if not a single one of your moves is a squat. And then if you set moves that are squats, that are sometimes your best in slot damage, then you have to squat even more. And sometimes you have to squat a lot, because sometimes it's like a full AoE or like really good single target ability. And you basically have to not do the exercise, and then you lose your best in slot. So you're best friends to yourself? To some degree. I feel like it's harder to be hypocritical on yourself than compared to someone else, though. As well as having, like, little need to impress yourself compared to, like, another person. It doesn't take much to impress me. Which doesn't work too well from a motivational standpoint of trying to impress myself. Like, it takes very minimal to keep me occupied. Which is probably why we play so many grind-based games. Because I don't mind doing the same thing over and over again a billion times over. Hello, Vault Event. The Vault Event feels worthy. You get a lot of loot from it. Like, I would not grind Explore 12 as much as we would a Vault Event, that's for sure. I feel very burnt out on Explore 12. Unless they eventually add, like, Explore 15. But even then, the strategy is going to be the same. It's just going to be, like, you know, run Iron Gun Zolgoth instead of just Zolgoth. Because they would if they were to raise it, they would actually raise it to the point where triple damage burning doesn't kill anymore. Though we do have access to triple damage burning and rage, which has an even higher range. He's been feeling off today. Yeah, it's just one of those off days today. Lester, don't be dirty. Alright, good. We did not get a Mimic. You actually don't want to see a Mimic when you're doing this. The main reason being is it slows you down. You either have to transition to a different kingdom or actually, like, Zolgoth it down. Let's see. You could good for yourself and make something special. I just don't feel like it's worth the effort. Like, it won't feel as special if I have to cook for myself. Because the amount of effort it would have taken would have just not made it worthwhile. In a lot of situations. Whereas I feel like if I make it for someone else, it feels more worthwhile than to make it for myself. Because I won't be as impressed by what I make than what someone else would be by what I make for them. Because I would have less impressed from it due to the hours it would have taken. Or maybe not hours, you know, everything takes a little bit different, but with my lack of experience with some things, it probably would take hours. Especially if I don't already have the ingredients, because I'd have to go walk to the store, go get the ingredients, walk it back, actually prep everything, and start cooking. And, you know, the whole process can take hours if I don't have the items already in the house. Which generally I wouldn't, because, you know, I wouldn't normally be cooking that kind of stuff, so I'd probably be missing at least a few ingredients. This is a whole process. Though I have been seeing ads lately for Uber something, Uber Eats or whatever they're called, where they like deliver any grocery item to you, which I'm pretty sure they've done for a while, but I've seen a lot of ads for it recently. I've never bothered using such a service. I'm pretty sure it would cost so much money though. Like, I'd rather just walk. I need the exercise anyways. It doesn't take that long to get to a corner store. Luckily, I have a Walmart literally on the corner. I hate using it, though, because they have all the automated teller thingies, whatever you call them. Like, no one actually works there to do the ringers anymore. Which I still don't understand how companies can get away with that. Like, I wouldn't mind it as much if it auto-scans. Like, you could just, like, scan your card at the start, and then just pick up anything, and then it, like, auto-charges you at the end. Like, that I wouldn't mind. But the fact that you have to, like, scan your own items is just so annoying. Like, I wouldn't mind that technology if it was one step further. But they're in a weird middle ground that makes me never want to go there. Because it's all the worst of both sides. Until they make it, like, fully automated. Like, that still wouldn't be ideal. But it would be better than what it currently is. grinding 30 to 40 hours per event. Oh, we're definitely not going that long this weekend. I want to say we'll probably get like 10 to 20-ish. Probably closer to 20. Because by the end of stream, counting what I did earlier, we're probably at like 4-ish hours. Yeah, I would never use a shipping service like that. I never really use Uber Eats or any kind of like delivery system like that. The only thing I still occasionally use that's along those lines is one of the more classic ones, which is pizza delivery. Because honestly, that one still seems kind of cheap. Especially with how close they are to my location, because there's like a billion of them all over the place. Like, I can order from almost any pizza place around me for like a few bucks. Or, you know, not counting the order itself, but, you know, a few bucks as in shipping costs. Which honestly isn't that bad. Because you only have to drive like a mile. So there's no like additional cost beyond that. You gotta keep an eye out for any good gnomes here in the final stretch. See if we can get a good one here. Got a little bit extra value. But if we don't, we'll just get a extra vault key or two in there. Hey, we got a panda. Pretty sure that's one we already have max. I think that was one of the ones from the Legends Reborn event, which means we already have it max. Ooh, double glory. That's potentially worth holding on, but I'd rather try for the extra key. It was like triple or quad, maybe would have held. What you're really looking to hold on are things like the Cursed Gnome, or more important, the Dragonite Gnome. But there are some other ones that are somewhat okay to hold on. Like if you get a triple or quad glory within the last 30 seconds. Double glory, you know what, we'll hold on this one. I have a feeling we're not going to be able to get quick enough in the other one. Also, let me go change the dimensions real quick, because I just ruined that earlier. Yeah, it's off by 1 pixel, I knew it. I was looking at it and it's like, wait, that is so far off. But yeah, 1 entire pixel. That is so massive. Alright, now we'll just take a hit, and there we go. And was it worth it? No, we got 400 glory instead of getting like 60. It's not a huge buff, but hey, that's more than nothing. And we take tribute. And hey, let's go update our numbers now that so that we can make them say not 0. Where's our key numbers? Yeah, we started at 758. Nice. We did 23 or 20 and 3, I should say, not 23. 23 sounds misleading. Let's see. Volkeys 20. Epic Volkeys 3. Gaps used 1. There we go. So yeah, that's a pretty average Palooza. Actually, we got 1 Epic Volkey more than what should have been average. Average is about 20 Volkeys, 2 Epic Volkeys, and however much you get from Pity, which can vary. But yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. We're at 2 Pity earlier, now we're at 10, just from a single one. Obviously, that falls off pretty quickly once we get a bit deeper into them. But not bad. Anyways, let's go back to a single dust level and see if we can get another verse. And if we get another verse, we'll go use another verse. And I think that's the game plan. See if we can get like another 1 or 2 down. Farm the verse, then immediately use the verse. Which is not how we always necessarily do it, but it's a pretty fun way of doing it. Is immediately using the verse once you get the verse. And we're probably going to do that for most this weekend, actually. Go and farm the verse itself, then use it, then farm it, then use it. And off stream, I'm going to try to get us back to base 10. So that for next Vault event, we'll have at least 10 on standby. This is nice to have. Yeah, I don't really understand how things like Uber Eats and Uber and stuff like that actually ultimately make money. I feel like it's a business that is like eventually just gonna like go into complete turmoil. Or they're gonna automate everything. Which honestly, I wouldn't mind that being fully automated. There's a lot of things I feel like should be fully automated. And that's one of them that definitely would benefit from it. Because how it is right now, there's just so many ways that you have to pay out that it just inflates the cost like crazy. And you know what's going to happen, though. They're eventually going to get it fully automated, but then just raise the price even more rather than dropping it down. And then even less people use it. Which is one of the weirdest things with inflation. Is when things like deflate some in any way, shape, or form, like, prices never come down. They just always keep it at the higher rate. And one of those things, like if Uber and everything else got automated, they're just going to raise the price more and not drop it down now that they don't have to pay people. Yeah, true. That's one of the ways that restaurants get around it, though. Is they actually have higher prices on their app. So that it seems like you're paying the same amount. But then all the other charges and everything else. Like, in the end, someone's paying for it. But with how Uber and everything else is right now, it's normally the consumer that is. But also, the person who's delivering everything, you know, they still have a lot of invisible costs. Wear and tear on their vehicle, gas costs, everything else. So they're barely making anything from it. Unless they do it a lot. Like, if you only work for Uber, like, very minimally, you could almost be in the red sometimes. Like, if you worked a lot, like, obviously you'd make a decent chunk of money. And there's a lot of, like, smaller costs associated to it, though. Oh, no, I wish this was Angel. What I really pay for is the time. I don't know, I don't mind using my own time for it. There's just so many places within walking distance near me that it just doesn't make sense to really do it. It's just somewheres where I might start walking to get some exercise too, going forward. Wendy's actually just sent another whole list of coupons for June, and I have no clue why. I actually do look at coupons whenever they get sent in the mail for various things, and every single place has gone up so much in cost, like how minimal their coupons actually save you. And for whatever reason, Wendy's didn't get the memo, because they are still handing out like free stuff if you pay like a few dollars or something. Like, it's actually insane the kind of coupons they still have. Or you can spend like $2 and get like a $8 item for free. I'm not even the biggest fan of Wendy's. Like, it's really hit or miss. I think the biggest issue is the closest Wendy's by me, I think has like a 2-point-something star review on Google. Like, their service there is horrible. But I guess Wendy's overall, honestly, isn't that bad. Compared to, like, the average fast food place. It's all so unhealthy for you, but hey. If I can get, like, a near-free meal for just walking to a place and spend, like, $2 and get, like, a drink plus a burger, that's not a bad deal these days. $2 for a drink and a burger, basically. And you get a good walk out of it. It's only like a mile away, it's pretty close. Wholesale egg prices, which relates to supplies, are falling quickly. They were at $1.22 a dozen. They're down from a record... Wait, have they actually gone up that much? Because I haven't been getting eggs much lately. As I mentioned before, I stay away from most dairy products. Not for any particular reason other than I just don't like most dairy products other than like yogurt and cheese. I guess technically ice cream falls under that category. I also don't order ice cream that much. Or get ice cream, I mean. Order ice cream. Well, I guess technically you could order ice cream. There are ice cream places. Gosh, you know how many years it's been since I've stepped foot into a Dairy Queen? I do recall, Dairy Queen actually has surprisingly good nut ice cream. Like, it's probably so pricey these days. But I remember when I was in high school, I would go to the Dairy Queen nearby. And, honestly, some of their best stuff is not even their ice cream. It was, like, their, little, like, lunch baskets that they had. Like, they had a good couple shrimp things. They had a good burger thing. And at least at the time, I'm not sure what they're priced at these days, but, they were actually kind of reasonably priced, too. Compared to the average fast food place. They even had, like, shrimp poppers and stuff like that. Like, a lot more diversity than what a normal fast food place would have, oddly enough. Despite it being, like, literally an ice cream place, primarily. They make the best hot fudge sundaes. I can never get hot fudge sundaes because I'm always concerned if the hot fudge may contain nuts. It's one of the reasons I just don't generally even eat at Dairy Queen too, is because they have a lot of nut stuff next to things that I would be consuming. And I'm pretty sure the average worker there isn't the most careful with that kind of stuff. Am I hungry? Yes. If you're wondering why we're talking about food, yes, I am hungry. That was also related to the other topic we were mentioning earlier. But yeah, it's very easy to tell any stream I'm hungry. Just count the number of times food comes up as a topic. And if it is more than 5, we are hungry. Without fail. It's because I was taking a nap earlier, so I didn't eat, like, dinner yet. Hey, Dragonite Gnome. Oh, it's a wild Dragonite Gnome. We actually get full value off him. I don't have that many snacks in the house right now. I've been trying not to buy as many, so I don't keep nibbling on them. I did pick up Sun Chips recently, though. Like the individually bagged Sun Chips, like the smaller ones. They have quite a few good flavors, and they're good to grab if you're just like having a sandwich. Oh yeah, Taco Bell. I was considering it early today, but when I was hungry for it, it was like peak hour Taco Bell. And there's only like one Taco Bell in my area, and it's on a very major street. And normally they get so crowded that it's impossible to even make it through. I'm not sure why, but every place I've ever lived has had a very low number of Taco Bells. I'm not sure if the franchise in general just has a low quantity across the United States, or what exactly their deal is. But so far, every area I've lived has had either 0, and eventually got a Taco Bell, or has like one Taco Bell for like 10 miles or something. There's like no Taco Bells in any radius. Because it feels weird, because you compare it to like any other fast food place, like McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's, I don't know, let's even say something like, gosh, I can't even remember because I never go there, Starbucks or something. Like those, they're everywhere. But then like something like Taco Bell is like, you have to go out of your way to figure out where on earth your Taco Bell is in your general vicinity. You might have to go miles for it. Like in my area, I think the closest Taco Bell is like 4 miles. I don't know the exact mileage. It's just kind of funny because I remember bringing up a map a while back. Because when I once volunteered in high school to hand out water for some kind of running thing, they had some kind of marathon around. I remember because the way I remembered getting there when I was looking at the map, it's like, oh, it was across from the Taco Bell several streets over. And that's how I remembered how to get there, because I know how to get to the Taco Bell. So I was like, oh, I'm just going to go to the Taco Bell, not actually order anything. And then just like make a left here all the way to the beach, and then I'll be at the correct location. That's how I actually remembered how to get there. I used the Taco Bell as a landmark. Those things aren't that common around here. So if you see one, you know exactly where you are. Was I a water boy? Yeah, I pretty much was that day. I actually had to do so many hours of mandatory volunteer work during high school. I was at an academy for art, science, and technology, and one of the extra things you had to do there was, I think, like 40 hours of mandatory volunteer work, 2 years in a row, so 80 total, technically. Which, yeah, that was a lot of volunteer work. That was just one of a couple things I did for it. Did it with a couple friends, though, so it was kind of fun. Because everyone from the academy had to do it, so we were all, like, looking for ways to get it. So some of the events would almost be, like, social gatherings, in a sense. Because we all needed credit, so well, a lot of us would go to the same events, so because we need the credit. Did I ever spike the water? There's definitely been some misses when it happens. I wouldn't say spike, though. Because it's kind of hard to hand water to someone running at, like, almost 10 miles per hour. Oh no, how much do people run at when they're running at that speed? Like, they're running at like 5 to 10. Because they're either at like a quick jog state or like literally running. And it is not particularly easy to hand someone water when you're at a complete standstill and they're moving at like 5 to 10 miles per hour. Not a particularly easy act. It was fun though. It was a really hot day too. But luckily we had plenty of water. Because we were literally handing it out. It almost felt like running a concession stand with how hectic it was. Which I have done several times in the past as well. But honestly, concession stands are a lot better though. Because if you're volunteering at a water stand, all you get is free water. If you're volunteering at a concession stand, you get nachos, you get hot dogs, you get like some chips to bring back. There's a lot of benefits for it. Oh, spike is in to put alcohol? Oh, I thought he meant spike is in the motion of spiking something to the ground. Because those are two completely different spikes. But no, we did not spike the drinks. We were literally minors at the time. I would have been like, what, 16, 17? Like, we couldn't even drink. Nor would I want to. It would have been either 16 or 17 when I did it. Or 18, technically. But I don't think it was 18. Because... Oh, no. Did I do that in the first year or second year? I don't remember. Honestly, both years at the academy felt like one just really big year. I never know what year it happened on. This is 1 to 2. And I have a lot of funny memories from that school. Mostly because my previous school prior to that was so awful. Because I was at 2 years where I was at like a standard base high school and then 2 years at the academy thingy. And technically all 4 years I was still technically at the base high school. Because you always needed one as like the direct, like one that you're technically associated with even though you're still going to the other one. And honestly, that high school was awful. Like the amount of drugs and everything else that just happens in that school is absolutely absurd. Like, you'll literally see in one hallway the military recruiting, and in the next hallway, local gang recruiting, and in the next hallway, you'll have drug dealers. Not even a joke. That is legitimately a thing. Like, the actual main lobby would have the military recruiting. Then, like, one of the side, like, back rooms would have any local gang for various crimes and other things. And then just the other group that's just, like, literally just straight up selling drugs. Which also happened a lot on the buses. Which I did primarily drive, or not drive, but had to take during high school as well. Because my house was pretty far from the school for the first half of my high school. The second half I could actually literally walk there if I really wanted to, though I never really did. Other than a few occasions. Actually, speaking of military, while I never had any intention to go to military, you know how you normally need to get, like, physical education credits in high school? Well, my school had whatever it's called, JROTC or something. It's like some kind of, like, intermediary, like, military program thingy that you could do during high school. And I actually signed up for it because it counted as physical education. And I find it kind of funny because somehow, because, you know, I was, like, a tryhard at school around that time. So I was, like, the best person in the entire class. Despite having, like, no interest in the military or anything, I was just, like, literally taking it because it's physical education. And what's even funnier is because of marching band, I already knew a lot of the formations and everything else you already had to do. As surprisingly, a lot of movement with how you hold a rifle and everything else in, for, like, military stuff is very similar to how you would do it for marching band. But, you know, you wouldn't be holding a rifle, you'd be holding an instrument. But a lot of the fundamentals, as far as movement and everything, is actually very similar. So I kind of already knew everything in regard to it. And the quiz thingies I just studied for. And then, yeah, I was like the highest graded person in that class somehow. Despite having literally no interest in anything military related. I was just doing it for PE credits. Which is also funny because I actually did more physical activity in marching band than I ever did in the class I actually got physical education credits for, which makes like no sense at all. Because marching band doesn't count as a physical education credit. But the military thingy did. Or whatever it's called. JROTC or something. I don't remember the term. It's a really long acronym that stands for something. And I have no clue what. I think the J stands for junior. I cannot even remotely guess what the rest of the acronym stands for. No, marching band and band camp are two different things. Band camp is where all the weird things happen. Marching band is a lot more normal. It's basically actual PE, but with instruments. Honestly, I probably did more exercise in 1 year of any given marching band year than the entirety of middle school and high school combined in every physical education class I ever had. For two reasons. One is physical education in schools is a joke, but also because you actually do a lot of it for marching band. So between that two combination, it basically got all of the physical education within a year of what you would get in like multiple years. As far as actual exercise. You were a loner edgelord in high school? We didn't really have too many like emo kids or anything in high school. Like at the base high school, yes. But at the academy, there was a surprisingly low amount of like super emo people around that category. Like, that's definitely an inclination, I feel like, of a lot of teenagers. But, there wasn't that many at the academy. There were definitely plenty of loners. That kept to themselves and everything. But not really, like, the emo variant of them. Mostly just, like, the super shy, never talk kind of variant. Junior Service Officers Training Corps. There it is. Yeah, that's what JROTC stands for. But yeah, I took that for like a year or two in high school. Just for the credits. And somehow was the best person in the class. Despite having literally no interest in it. Which is kind of funny, because some people were like legit, like, the second they get a high score, just like straight going into the military or something similar. And I'm just in there like, oh, I just need the credits. I have no inclination to ever do that. Yeah, high school was crazy. Middle school as well. But I feel like the early years of high school was crazier than middle school. Or any other years of school. Honestly, I have way more memories from high school than I do of college. Because I did college pretty passively. Not like literally online. But I put all my classes back to back, so I had no time in between to socialize. I was just from class to class to class. And it was only 2 days of the week rather than 5. So it was basically like school, but you only took it 2 days. But during those 2 days, you were literally there like the entire day. But no, I didn't do much in college. Because we didn't have like dorm rooms or something equivalent. It was a pretty small school. And I never socialized with anyone. I actually made a total of 0 friends in college. Because I never had any time to socialize while I was there. And also, the age range is a lot different when you're going to college compared to high school. Like, high school, the worst you have to deal with is, like, maybe, what, 4 years difference? Whereas college, it could be, like, 10, 20, 30. Like, I remember one of the speaking courses I had to take at my college. Like, there was people as young as, like, 17 in that class. And then people as old as, like, graduated, like they finished the military. Like, they're literally just on their grant thing, like, in their 40s, something similar. Like, it's just such a wide range. It's such a different experience compared to high school. The guy from the military had a lot of interesting stories, though. I don't remember most of them, though. He always loved to talk, though. But I feel like you don't really get to know anyone in college. Like, you'll talk to them, like, somewhat, like, during the class and stuff like that. And then after class is over, you'll, like, never see them again. Also, I remember the few people I used to talk about, or talk with in public transportation, too. Which is kind of funny, because one of them looks a lot like Genki. She was, like, in her 40s or 50s. It wasn't literally Genki, but someone who looked very similar to her. Who actually kind of talks pretty similar to her. Definitely wasn't Genki, though. She was like in her 40s or 50s and going to college for, I don't remember what. Something medical related. Well, we'd always talk because we'd always be waiting for the bus around the same time. For like a full year there, half a year. For like an entire semester. There's very few people that took the public transportation system, though. So everyone who did kind of knew each other. Maybe it was her about time travel, though. I remember during the time when politics came up, because it was the election season at that time, and it was her and some other guy who would always talk about politics at the bus stop thingy. And that was back when I actually followed politics quite a bit. And it's amazing how much people don't keep up with politics. Like, I don't these days. But at the time when I was actually keeping up with politics, I found it very strange how little they knew about politics at the time. Either because they just don't have the time to, or just don't want to. Like, these days, I just don't want to keep up with it. I think one of them just, like, announced on Twitter with some kind of, like, group thingy the other week. Just pure chaos. Though, honestly, it should be pretty entertaining this time around. Because honestly, it was pretty fun following things when Trump was running. It made things more entertaining. And this is the last year he could probably ever run. It's gonna be like him versus DeSantis on the right, and the Joe Biden and whoever on Earth's gonna run on the left. I'm actually not sure who the main opponent is this time, because Bernie Sanders definitely isn't rerunning. And a lot of people are moving to third parties who are, like, running from the left or similar angles of different degrees that aren't directly left or right. So I'm not sure who's directly running on the left to oppose them. Because I sure hope there is. There's no way they're just going to put Joe Biden back up. They can't possibly do that twice. Like, they shouldn't have even done it the first time. But there's no way they're going to do it twice. I also find it weird how high the age is curved for politics. Like, I think the average person in the White House right now is somewhere between, like, 60 and gravestone. Or maybe even 70 in gravestone. Like, they're around the age of, very absurdly old. Is what? Joe Biden is 70-something, almost 80. Trump is also 70-something, almost 80. Bernie, I think, is, like, already 80-something. No, I don't think he's running again. DeSantis, I think, is a little bit younger. He's like, what, 40, 50? But I think, like, the minimum for president's, what, 35? So you can never have someone too young there. We're almost at the point where we could have a millennial running for president. Next year, or not next year, but, you know, next election cycle. Not next year's election cycle that's going on right now. But 2028, I believe, is the first year a millennial could technically run for president. Due to the age restriction on how old you need to be president. And then the next cycle after that, it would almost be Gen Z as well. I don't know, how old's the youngest Gen Z? Actually, I would already know. So no, it wouldn't quite be yet. Because I'm actually the youngest, no, oldest? Yeah, I'm the youngest millennial you could be, I believe. Because I believe I'm right on the cutoff year of what is a millennial compared to Gen Z or whatever it is. Or the other one that comes after. Which means, so I'm 28, soon to be 29. So that means, yeah, 2 presidential election cycles from now will be the first time a Gen Zer could run for president. And not this election cycle, but the election cycle after this would be the first time that a millennial can. And the next election cycle after that would be the first time a Gen Z could. Millennials don't have a lot of interest in politics. I think it's mostly because we all gave up. Like, I initially, when I first became, like, voting age, for the most part, didn't care. But then, like, a few years after, I was like, yeah, I'll go, like, actually partake in politics. And then after doing so, I never want to do so again. Because politics is just so awful. I don't think that millennials necessarily don't want to. It's just the kind of policies that they would want don't exist in politics. Like, I don't think anyone in the United States is even remotely running on something like a universal basic income or something similar. And a lot of things that other millennials would kind of want, like, no one's running on. I don't agree with all the things that millennials would want, though. Like, I'm pretty against just, like, canceling student debt. Like, obviously a lot of things need to be done on that whole entire broken system. But I don't feel like any debt should just be, like, straight up canceled. Like, what happened in 2008 and 2009 with the banking crisis is a good example of why you should never do that under any circumstance ever. Okay, let's go take this out. I was wondering, why am I using the Mimic team? I forgot, because we have a Mimic, didn't we? There we go. What instrument did I play again? Oh, I did percussion. So I did a lot of different instruments. I've played, I want to say I've almost played over 1,000 different percussion instruments. But definitely several hundred. You kind of lose track after a couple hundred. But yeah, I just play percussion. So everything that hits another object with an object. I primarily played mallet-based instruments and drum-based instruments. But oh no, I just skipped the merchant, no! Because I'm barely paying attention. But yeah, I mostly just play percussion. Primarily mallets competitively. But for marching band, for pep band, I did normally bass or snare. Because I wasn't as fan of quads, which is kind of weird because quads plays a lot more like mallets. But I didn't actually like how quads were. Because I feel like quads are just like targeting... It's just targetable snare. But you don't play it in the same way that you play snare. Like snare, you do a lot more of elaborate like stick movement. Whereas with quads, for the most part, it's more so just hitting the right drum. Of course, bass is even more simpler than that, though. You're literally just hitting the drum. But, I don't know, just a lot more simpler if you just don't want to think. It's like using Dust Devil team compared to actually running a proper team against an actual battle. But no, bass drum was, like, straightforward. But, I don't know, I didn't really like quads that much. Snare was fun, though. Because generally, most quad songs, or what you would do for quads, you're just doing standard hits. Like, you're not doing any kind of weird patterns normally, or anything too overly elaborate. You're normally not needing to hit it in, like, a super specific way like you do with snare. Because snare, like bass drum, there are basically two main ways you hit. You just hit, or you do a rim tap. But snare, there are so many more that you actually end up having to do. Like, you still have those two, but you also have a lot of different patterns that you end up needing to hit it in that quads would never do, because generally you need your hands all over the place to do quads, because you're constantly hitting different targets, where snare is always on the same drum, which gives it a lot more versatility. But anyways, yeah, I played a lot of instruments in my day. Hey, double Anu. And I mentioned it a couple of times too, but because of the college as well, they had a lot of programs between gosh, words. Because there's so many different words to go with it. But they basically had a lot of programs you could go to for free to learn various percussion things, which was fun. They had so many percussion instruments from around the world, which was very convenient. Way more than what a high school would stock, because it was like a full-blown college that had it as like an actual course thing. Like, you could actually major in percussion there, which is kind of insane. I would never do that. But I think they literally had a percussion major that you could do. Like a music major that was like focused on percussion. But they had a lot of fun instruments. And that's also where the band camp would take place too. because they had access to like near everything in existence. It was a lot of fun. I have to say, taiko drums are probably the most fun thing to ever play. It's somewhat like playing a bass, but you're playing it more like a snare, if that makes any sense. Because taiko drums are played in two different orientations. They are normally played either vertically, where you're kind of hitting them almost like a stationary bass drum, in a sense, where it's almost like an in-between of a timpani, like an angled timpani and a bass. But your the movement is a lot more extensive, because it's more of a visual display than a hitting display, unlike many other percussion instruments. Because it has a lot of like the tribal movement stuff from, you know, way back when. So you tend to do a lot of like the very overly exaggerated movement with your hands and everything, which is a lot of fun. And yeah, it was definitely the funnest drum to ever play. It's because of how much like body movement it required compared to average percussion. Because, you know, normally most percussion, especially like concert-like percussion, and even when you're just in the pit during marching band, you don't tend to be very movement focused, especially with how that kind of stuff is judged. Generally, the pit is just there to play. Like, there isn't much of an emphasis on them directly compared to the rest of the area. Whereas, taiko drum is one of those few drums where it's a lot more of the visual than the actual playing itself. Yeah, a lot of fun experiences. Though percussion is pretty easy to play generally. Like, you can pick up almost any percussion instrument within an hour and know most everything. Because as long as you know musical fundamentals, particularly for snare and a few others, you can just apply that to almost any percussion instrument and know how to like master it within hours. It doesn't take that long. And a lot of instruments play very similarly. It's one of the reasons I like mallets so much too. Particularly vibraphone and marimba, I like the sound of the most. Vibraphone basically plays like piano because it has a pedal. So it's basically like piano, but you're hitting tiles instead of clicking finger note thingies. Oh gosh, these are both horrible. We'll take this one, I guess. Technically, this is a treasure roll. I'm just hoping we get a better treasure roll from it. Yeah, vibraphone is really fun. I love the sound of it too. I feel like it's very underutilized in music. I feel like it's one of those instruments no one really knows of. Like, if you tell someone, like if you, like, ask someone, like, something piano-related, like, you know, they'll know that it has the pedals, you know that it has, like, those little hammer thingies inside to hit the little chord thingies, which almost makes it more of a string instrument in a sense than a percussion one. But, you know, like, the average person will know stuff about it. But they won't really know that a vibraphone exists, which is basically the exact same thing as a piano, except you're the mallet that's hitting the tile, instead of a key on a board that then hits the tile, or the string more so in that case. But they're both basically the same instrument, just played differently. Just with drastically different sound. But like almost no one knows what a vibraphone is yet. Obviously everyone knows what a piano is. Yeah, that was probably the best thing I got to do, honestly, during high school, and slightly in middle school. Is I feel like I'm in a unique position to say that I've probably played over 1,000 different instruments. Of course, they were all percussion, so that's not like 1,000 in like a different sense. Because if you know 1,000 instruments in the sense of like, you know, all the air-related ones and all the string-related ones, then you're a lot more advanced in that regard. Because there's barely even 1,000 in that category. But, I don't know, being able to play like almost 1,000 different percussion instruments was a lot of fun. Definitely a highlights of my teen years. Yeah, I don't do anything with music these days. I've considered music production in some regard, like just for fun as a hobby. I've just never really found a program I would want to do on it. Also, it requires so much disk space because you need to have, you know, space for all of the different instrument sounds. And that can start to take up like literal terabytes of space on a computer. Like, you need almost like an entire external storage if you want to do music production properly. Like, you can do it with less, obviously. But to, like, properly do it, you need a lot of disk space. I would need to buy, like, a external storage just to have for the activity if I was to do it. Like a couple $100 external storage. No, we don't. Oh no! I thought that was the Ritz for a second. It's the same cost of the Ritz. It's not actually the Ritz though. It was a lot of fun. And I got to do quite a few fun things with it too. Our pep bands, well, you don't really compete as a pep band ever, but our football team was one of the most funded football teams in the entire state, or at least in, yeah, I would say the entire state. Definitely in the entire area, but definitely also just across the entire state in general. And because of that, we actually made it to state a couple times, you know, the football team. So there was quite a few times we got to play there, and that was so much fun. Also, one thing you got to do a lot during just pep band and marching band is to see all the different concessions across the entire state. And some of them have some good stuff. Like, stuff that is horrible for you. But different degrees of nachos, different degrees of fried food that you didn't even realize could be fried. There's a lot of fun things. Because every single area you would ever do marching band or pep band always had, like, those football stadium concession stands. Which, you know, are pretty similar to what you would have for baseball games and similar things. But a lot of these high schools, like the upper end of them, that were, like, really try hard for football and similar things, like, they had some really high-end stadiums. Like, college-level stadiums, pretty much. Like, I'm pretty sure half my high school's budget went to their football stadium. I wouldn't even be surprised. Because they definitely didn't put it into the education part. Yeah, I skipped the Nishas. I did see that. I was considering clicking it, and I was like, eh. I've skipped Nishas a couple times. It burns a lot of gems. They are worth it, but I only take it like half the time. Oh yeah, harp. Harp sounds really nice. I never bothered learning harp. I've never been as big of a fan of string instruments. Mostly because my fingers just hurt playing them a lot of times. Like, obviously there's a lot that you play with those stick things. But any of them that you specifically have to pluck, I was not a fan of plucking instruments. And harp is under that category, same as guitar and stuff like that. I'm not a fan of the plucking instruments. The one thing I have an actual stick for is, I wouldn't mind getting into, but I never bothered doing so. There's a lot more technique that you would have to do for them. But honestly, if you learn one string instrument with that, you could probably learn them all pretty quickly. It's more so just about learning the first. Which is kind of similar to percussion. Like, you learn, like, 10 of the base, like, instruments of percussion. Like, if you learn snare, mallets, piano, which I never really fully learned. But, if you were to learn piano, mallets, snare, and maybe just a few other, like, generic ones, you'll basically know how to play every percussion instrument in existence. Like, there's not too many you have to learn to know the fundamentals of most instruments, percussion-related. Timpani was the other one that kind of came up. Timpani I never really bothered fully learning. The weirdest thing about timpani is it's almost like learning guitar in a sense. That one of the weirdest things with timpani is that the main thing you need to know is how to tune a timpani. Because, you know, if you were to ever actually play timpani at a place, there's not someone who's going to be tuning it for you. You have to be the person who tunes the timpani. So for that reason, the hardest part about playing timpani was the actually tuning it itself. And it tunes somewhat similar to a guitar, obviously very differently. As the frame that you're, like, tuning to is a lot different than, like, the strings themselves. But, yeah, it was really weird. Because honestly, 80% of what you needed to know to play timpani was how to tune it properly, and that's it. Like, the actual playing, it was, you know, pretty standard, the hit drum for the most part. I actually played very similar to the quads, oddly enough. Because normally you'd have access to, like, 4 or 5 or so drums, which is exactly what quads are. They're called quads because normally it's 4, but there are quads that are 5. I'm not sure if it has a different name, but I still just call them quads. Pretty sure everyone still just calls them quads. Because 9 out of 10 times, there's only 4 of them. But sometimes there's a 5th drum for quads, but people still just call them quads. Because a lot of quads are set up in a way where the 5th drum's, like, in the middle. Because the way that quads are, there's an empty space generally in the middle, because they're, like, in a, like, almost like U shape. But because there's, like, a U shape, unless you have, like, a gigantic stomach, there will be a little bit of room, like, right in front of you. And some quads have a 5th drum there because there's enough room. Like, as long as you're under 300 pounds, you could play a 5-drum quad. But otherwise, yeah, the 4-drum quad has, like, a lot of room in between there. Which pretty much any size could end up playing. Which is probably one of the reasons why most of them are 4 instead of 5. As 4 works for pretty much every body type, but 5, you'd probably have to be under, like, 250, realistically, to play. Due to how much room the 5th drum takes up. Also, where on earth is this verse scroll? We've been farming for like half an hour trying to get this verse. Unless I just haven't noticed it. We've not gotten one. We got one earlier to stream. Only one. I'm not sure if I'm ever going to get back into music. It was something I took up in, like, elementary school as a hobby. Then in middle school, I started doing it a bit more competitively, and it was like, yeah, I'm actually successful at this. And by the end of high school, I was like, I'm kind of done with this. Like, it was fun, it was a great experience, but, no, it's just... Because the band was going downhill, too. We had, like, 2 professor switchovers, and just the entire program, at least my high school, was going, like, super downhill. So I just was starting to lose interest because, you know, the actual program itself wasn't handled that well. And by the end of it, it's like, not really that into it now. It's still fun, though. One of the funniest things, though, is it's been so long since I've learned have read sheet music that if I was to look at sheet music again, I'd probably be completely stumped on how to read it. Because it's been so long since I've read sheet music. I think I can still identify where a note is, though. Because as long as you know where one note is, you know where every note is on the entire scale when you're reading sheet music. You literally only have to know one to know them all. Or the only slight complication being weird time signature, not time signatures, but weird clef bars and stuff, or whatever it's called. The key signature. Yeah, key signature, that was the right one. Because time signature was the other one. Yeah, key signature. I was mixing up them two for a second. Yeah, time signature is the tempo. Key signature is the actual key that is, as far as what notes you have to play. I still always found keys a little bit weird. Like, obviously it's a huge part of how music works. But theoretically, you could write any score of music to all be in the same key and just adjust the notes accordingly. Like, obviously that doesn't make sense, as most songs, you know, are played completely in that key, so why do that? But you could. You could write music in a way... Hey, we got some deets there for free. But you could write music in a way where, you know, all of it's still in the same key, but it still sounds like it's in a different key. But to still have the key signature just as whatever. Because you could just change each note to have a flat or sharp on it. But the main reason that's not done is because, let's say you have to do that like 200 times during a song. Instead of marking it down 200 times on the sheet music, it just makes more sense to have a key signature for it. However, I don't know, I just always found it annoying keeping track of key signature. Because you have to apply whatever the key signature is to every single note. Whereas if it's just denoted on the note itself, you know immediately. Oh, we got an angel here. What is this? We got, we're getting a lot of angels. We'll stick to 10 blue. There we go. Also, one thing that's funny, now that I've gotten, like, slightly back into RuneScape a little bit, or at least, like, passively, like, on the side, just AFKing various things. I do want to go stream that again soon, so we can go to some of the funner content on stream. But, I've been doing that game, and it's kind of funny because it's almost like a rhythm game. The game actually runs at 100 beats per minute. And it's really funny because you could actually play or have a song in the background that plays at exactly 100 beats per minute. And you'll know every single tick that the game moves at. Because it's a weird, like, real-time but pseudo-turn-based game. Where all movement is based on a 6-second, 100 beat per minute cycle. So if you had a song on that was exactly 100 beats per minute, it'd be perfectly aligned with the movement system of the game. Which I always found really funny. Especially because I got into that game around the time when I actually first got into music. So, it was always like a part of the game that kind of made sense. It's probably the MMO that is... I think it might still be the only MMO to this day that is basically a rhythm game. Like those games that are like ultra rhythm based. Except it kind of hides the fact that it's a rhythm based game. But at a technical level, it basically is. It just doesn't sell itself as one. Which I'm kind of surprised they never have over the years. Despite it quite literally being one, in a sense. It just, the gameplay itself doesn't feel like one. Like, generally most music-based games go, like, really heavy into music. Like, the first two that comes to mind are the two that, Crypt of the Necromancer, or Crypt of the, Necrodancer, I mean, as well as the Legend of Zelda version that they made of that. Like, those kind of games, like, they really sell their whole musical thing. They have musical weapons, they have musical enemies, musical themes. You know, that's a game that, like, doesn't really wear the fact that it's a music-based game. Whereas most indie games would obviously sell very heavily into that aspect, as it's their main selling point, as it's their main gimmick. I never really got too much into music-based games, though. Like, I played those two that I mentioned. I also played Guitar Hero back in the day. Guitar Hero was pretty fun. Guitar Hero is probably the main reason I would never want to actually play a guitar. I think I took one class for it at the beginning of middle school. Just because I felt like, why not? And, I don't know, it was kind of underwhelming. I don't really care for guitar. String instruments in general I could never really get into, personally. I was saying how many different positions there are on the rack. Or whatever the proper term is. I call it the rack. But you know. The big, gigantic shaft of the guitar. Or any general string instrument. Is you have to worry about a lot, not just about when you pluck, but where you pluck. Which is somewhat similar to how mallets are, but I don't know, it's... I just feel like it's a lot more annoying to think about. Also, I have no clue how people, like, sing and play guitar at the same time. Hey, finally! Because that seems like the most annoying thing to ever do. Like, ever. Like, unless you were doing something really basic. But the people who go, like, absurdly quick on guitar while, like, singing, like rock music and other similar things, I think metal does as well. I'm not really a fan of that genre, but I have no clue how they could possibly sing while playing that quickly. Like, my brain could not comprehend doing both simultaneously. Like, I could play a mallet instrument and sing at the same time. So I guess after enough practice, you kind of could. But I don't know, it seems like it'd be so much more annoying on guitar. Because of how easily you could, like, hit the wrong note. Whereas mallets, you could hit the wrong note if you're not paying too much attention, but, you know, it's pretty easy to not to, for the most part. Anyways, unless you're going, like, super quick. Let's go do the Palooza. And we'll probably end on that Palooza, then. For now. For now. But, we're still gonna keep farming, of course. Gonna try to get some farming off stream as well. Trying to get at least to 10 reserve Paloozas going forward. But, okay, let's go run our last Palooza for the stream. Actually, before I do, let me go set my team to be correct, because I'm currently not using the correct team, oddly enough. What am I looking for? I'm looking for Explorer, I'm looking for a Battle, I'm looking for Ironhawk, and we're good to go. Yeah, that's Soul Gnome, too. Also, what's up with my voice? Gosh, it's starting to go. We haven't been talking that much this stream. Alright, let's go and take out the Soul Forge. The final Palooza, at least for now. Obviously, we're going to be doing plenty more this weekend. This will be the last thing we do this stream. Oh, okay, good. I did start the timer. I thought I didn't start the timer for a second. Oh, there we go. When are we going to get the rest of the codes? I'm going to hand out the other code right now. Or a second code as soon as we finish this up, I guess. Once we're tallying the numbers for the current Palooza. I probably should have done it before we even started this Palooza, though. Should have done it as soon as we got the other verse thingy. I could technically try doing it now, but it's going to be hard to try to do between the loading screens. I could try, though. I have to do it on the bigger loading screen to have enough time. Because it has, like, 2 seconds of downtime, maybe even 3. Because that gives me time to move over there. Okay, I'll get a code out in the next minute. I just have to do it between the loading screens of the initial load into each battle. Alright, click quickly. Go, 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 go. Boom, 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 boom. Okay. Now we go and click copy on it. Okay, cut it, cut it, cut it. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, now we got it on our paste bin. Now we do this again. Get into the next cycle. We got this. We're going to max efficiency the 3-second downtime between every battle. Okay, we're now clicked onto the bar itself. Now all I have to do is click the paste and enter. We're almost there. We got this. All right, now to do in between here. There we go. Paste enter, paste enter. And there's the code. There we go. And we got the code out. Hi, I beat you, Bill. We got it before you squirreled us. We have remembered. Oh, so that's weird. We go in for 2 hours and only got 2 Paloozas. That's not too out of the ordinary. But you can expect to get about 0 to 3 per hour. And we only got 1 both the 2 hours, which is not ideal. But, you know, that's kind of on rate. You're hoping for like 2, but, you know, sometimes you get 1. And if you get really unlucky, you get 0 for multiple hours in a row. Because we have to grind over Paloozas this weekend. And by the end of the stream, that means we would have grinded for about 2 hours so far. I got 2 off stream, which means I got 1 per hour. And we got 2 on stream. At also 1 per hour. So I'm pretty much only getting a rate of 1 per hour so far this weekend. Which is not ideal, but it's better than getting 0 in an hour. Which at current rate, that means if we want to hit 300, we'd have to farm for about 15 hours. Plus a little bit more because I want to get my reserve keys back up. Which means we have to farm for like 25 hours this weekend. Assuming we keep the same low rate. If we get luckier, we won't have to do it as long. So realistically, it'll probably take like 20 hours this weekend. We're like 4 or 5-ish in by the end of the stream. This vault weekend won't leave you alone. Yeah, I wonder what the forum's saying these days. Because I know there was a lot of complaints initially, like, hey, why are you moving the vault weekend up? We were all planning for the following week. Wow, no, I kind of agree with the vault or the forum complaints this time around. The only reason I won't hate it as much is if the next vault is 1 week earlier. Because the worst part about this being 1 week earlier isn't necessarily even that's 1 week earlier, but that the next vault event is technically 1 week later now, in a sense. Because now the next vault event might not be till July. Like, we might not have a single vault in June. It might be like late July by the time we have the next vault event, if they don't move it up even earlier. Which is going to feel really weird, because we're going to have like a almost 2-month time with no vault event. Because it's going to be like the 3rd to last week of July, probably, when we get the next one. If they keep it at the same increment of where it should have been. Yeah, the whole reason they moved it is there was a troop glitch for mobile. For the bounty hunter troop. And because of that, they shifted it over to next week instead of this week. That's the whole reason we don't have bounty hunter right now. Yeah, I read it on the forum earlier. Oh no, they've released broken patches before. Like where a troop doesn't exist. Wouldn't be the first time. Like there's been times where we've had an event and the troop just didn't even come out. Like not even did its model for it wasn't working. Like the troop itself just did not exist. So we haven't had a glitch like that in a while. I guess they were maybe trying to avoid that this weekend. Though it seemed like it was only the art that wasn't working. But the actual troop itself would have still functioned. Oh yeah, I didn't even see what it looked like. Is that what it was, a skeleton kitty? I didn't even bother looking up what the bounty hunter troop did. I just assume all of them are useless and just put them in last slot. Oh, is that a Friends reference? I've seen a couple Friends episodes while with friends, but I've never bothered watching the whole series on my own. I've heard it's pretty decent. Also, didn't they get canceled for some reason? Like everything these days. But, I don't know, I've never watched the whole thing. I've probably seen like 5 to 10 episodes. Also, I'm really bad at keeping track of the names of the characters. I feel like for something like The Big Bang Theory, it was really easy and recognizable to know who each individual character was. While I haven't watched that many episodes of Friends, I have no clue who any of them are. I can't even name a single name from the Friends. Whereas I feel like a lot of them from Big Bang Theory were a lot more memorable and unique. And also a lot more relatable. Because I know people who are like that. And to some degree, I'm almost like some of them as well. Whereas a lot of the ones from Friends are a lot less relatable. I know very few people that are like that. And I'm not like that myself. I feel like a normal person would relate to the Friends show a lot better, though. Whereas nerdier people relate to Big Bang Theory more. Oh, hello, Ginky! Welcome! Oh yeah, we're still here. We're about to end after Spalooza, though. So in 7 minutes, we're gone. We're out of here. I'll continue to grind tomorrow night. Same time. Probably same length, realistically. Might as well we'll go a little longer. Who knows? Maybe it'll be an After Dark stream. Could you imagine? I've always been joking about it over the years, as some people bring it up. We technically could. I'm not sure why I would talk about. Like, I talk about, like, randomly all over the place. Like, what on earth do we even talk about this stream? I probably rambled in every possible direction. I wouldn't know how to structure, a different stream like that. Unless everyone just kept asking questions consistently. Oh yeah, happy birthday, Genki! I forgot, it's still your birthday right now, because of time zones. But yeah, happy birthday, Genki! I almost completely forgot, because we already celebrated it last night. But yeah, it's still your birthday for a couple more hours. How did it go? Get any fun gifts? Have any fun experiences? For your big 5-0? You're planning to stream later? Oh, I might stop by if I'm still up. Oh, a pet I need to go get. I think I don't have that one maxed. But yeah, how many hours from now are you streaming? I might stop by. Wish you a happy birthday on your stream. Well, of course, I wish you a happy birthday right now, but you know what I mean. Hey, Epic Volky, nice. Because I might still be up in a couple hours. Because I'm grabbing dinner after this. And I don't want to sleep immediately after eating. Okay, I'll try to stop by then. I should still be up. I know, I mentioned at the beginning of the stream and I kind of forgot. Well, the reason I thought, the main reason is, for whatever reason, I keep thinking Genki's time zone is like a few hours after mine, but it's a few hours before. So I was thinking like, oh, never mind, it's not her birthday anymore, technically. But no, because it's a few hours before, yeah, it's still her birthday. Actually still has like 5 hours of birthday left or something. That's a lot of birthday left. Oh, now that's a nice one to see. Double soul, double glory. They have the most consistent loot out of any of the gnomes, as far as their base drops. So they're some of the best ones to see, particularly glory. Glory is the best gnome by far, as far as the generic gnomes. If anyone wants any other questions, anyone want me to go over, do let me know. Because in 3 minutes, we'll go do the tally and call it a night. Till tomorrow. So I'll be grinding during the stream tomorrow, but I mean during the day tomorrow. However, most of that grind will be for the 10 reserve that we need. You know, to get our stack back up. So somewhere early tomorrow night, we're basically just going to go grind each individual verse, then use the verse, then grind another one, then use it, so on and so forth. Because most of my off-grind, or off-stream grind will be just to try to get a reserve up for next Vault event. And not necessarily use them this time around. So that next Vault event, we can go for a much bigger number. As well as have a reserve if we don't have enough time. I am going to be going away for a week next month, but I highly doubt they're going to have a Vault event during that time. Given that we just had a Vault event now. I'll catch you later, Isabel. Have a good meal. That's the first thing I'm doing when I get off. Gonna go get some dinner. Oh, an epic Volkey. Wow, we got like 3 or 4 epic Volkeys this cycle. Not bad at all. Honestly, even though we're not getting that many Paloozas themselves, the Paloozas we're actually opening are really solid luck tonight. We're getting really good loot out of our Paloozas. Despite the actual total. Wow, 4 soul gnome too. Despite the actual total of them being kind of average or slightly below average. But the loot specifically has been average or above average. Which is great to see. So at least we're getting a lot of value from each Palooza. So they'll plan for your vacation and then move it last minute. No, I highly doubt they even could. And even if they can, it's not that hard to do it. We just won't be able to stream any of it. It's one of their whole reasons I even keep reserves. If you ever wonder why I keep a reserve of them. It's mostly in case if I ever do have to be away for like a week or something similar, that we could just simply throw down a few Paloozas and be good to go. It's one of the main reasons I always like to keep a reserve. Then in case they ever buff them out of nowhere, just so we have some ready to go to use. Which I haven't done in a while. The closest they've ever gone to buffing a Volkey recently, they've buffed them a lot in the past. But the most recent buff was last December when Orbs got buffed. Which is technically a buff to Volkeys. Because one of the main things you get from opening Volkeys is Orbs. So that's an indirect buff, but a buff nonetheless. Alright, only a single Glory Gnome. Unfortunately, double Jewel Gnome, which is not what you want to see on this fight. Alright, we'll give it a few extra seconds. Alright, reset the timer, and that should be match. And, nice! At least we got 1,000 Glory. Actually, that one Glory Gnome was better than the double Glory we got earlier, though, and they gave us 400, so hey. Still came out in the end. 28 Tribute. Mail has 15 Pity for us. Redeem code we handed out earlier, the second one. And we'll hand out a few more this weekend. But anyways, let's go get our final tally. And we'll call it there. So we started at 758. Wow, we did good on that one. Wow, 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 wow. We got 5 epic Volkeys during that. That is insane. Wow. Wait, that is super high. Both of those numbers. Though some of them might have been when we were doing the other grind for the verse, but still. That would only been like 2 or 3 Volkeys. But, wow, that's high. Yeah, let me go up those numbers. That was one of our better ones we've ever even had ever. Wait. Because, obviously this is our second Palooza. And that number is now 45. So that went up by 25. Though a few of those might have been when we were doing the grind, but still. But the epic vault key was 58. We got 1. So that means we did 5. Wow. So yeah, that's 6 total right now. Oh, wait. No. We already had 3. Never mind. We only got 3. Wait. We already had 3 earlier. My bad. I thought we did 5 that time. Never mind. We only did 3. That's still good, though. 25 and 3. Very solid. But my bad. I thought it was 25 and 5. But no, we got 3 earlier, not 1. Yeah, it was 25 and 3. Not 25 and 5. Still pretty good, though. But there we go. Anyways, that's where we're currently at. 15 pity sitting there. Which means in total we have about 70 keys. So we're working there. We're getting there. Actually 65. 66 actually exactly. But we're getting there. Slowly but surely. And our goal is to get like 200, 300-ish around that range. And we're going to be grinding them all. Off stream we're going to try to get this number to 10. And then we're going to do them like one at a time on stream. So off stream I need to get at least 6 verses on reserve. And on stream we're just going to open every single one that we can get. We get one, we use one, we get one, we use one. And we're pretty much going to do that pattern tomorrow night after Guild War. And that's pretty much the game plan. Anyways, guys, definitely make sure to check Yankee's birthday stream. She's going to be streaming in apparently a couple hours from now if you're still up. If you're in the United States zone, that might be pretty late at night, but I'm probably still going to be up for it. But yeah, she's streaming in a couple hours if you're around within the next few hours. So check that out for her birthday. And yeah, we'll be back tomorrow night. Same time as always, 2 hours prior to now, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You guys know the drill. And going to do pretty similar to tonight. Finish out Guild War. Clear out whatever dailies. Then the rest of the time we hunt for a Palooza, use the Palooza, hunt for one, use it, so on and so forth. And similar game plan to tonight. So I'll catch you guys then. Have a wonderful weekend with the Vault event. Best of luck if you're going to be grinding any. Highly advise doing so. And I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye, everyone. And thanks for stopping by. Have a wonderful weekend.